You trust your doctor, right? You believe them when they say a little pinch or some bitter medicine is for your own good. But what if that trust was the most dangerous thing you could have? Get ready, because we're about to travel back to a time when medicine wasn't science. It was a horror show. A time when a doctor's office was a torture chamber, and the most common prescription was a dose of pure, agonizing insanity. These weren't fringe quacks. This was the gold standard. These are the most barbaric medical treatments ever conceived by the mind of man. Imagine having a common cold, or a broken leg, or a stomach ache. The cure for all of them? The same thing, draining the life out of you one pint at a time. For over 2,000 years, the single most common medical procedure on Earth was bloodletting. The logic was absolutely bonkers. Doctors believed your body was filled with liquids, or humors, blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If you were sick, it just meant you had too much of one. The obvious solution? Get it out. And the easiest one to get out was blood. They used knives, specialized tools called fleams, and even leeches to open your veins and let you bleed into a bowl. It didn't matter what was wrong with you. Bleeding was the answer. It was the medical equivalent of trying to fix a computer by smashing it with a hammer. The most famous victim? America's first president, George Washington. When he came down with a throat infection, his doctors drained nearly 4 liters of blood from his body in less than a day. That's over half of all the blood he had. He died shortly after. He wasn't killed by the disease. He was killed by the cure. You think mental health treatment has a long way to go? In the 1940s and 50s, the miracle cure for everything from depression to schizophrenia was a 10-minute procedure that was more like a back alley assault. It was the transorbital lobotomy. The inventor, Dr. Walter Freeman, wanted a faster, more efficient way to sever the connections in the brain's frontal lobe. His solution? He didn't need an operating room. He didn't even need to open the skull. All he needed was an instrument that looked disturbingly like an ice pick. The procedure was a nightmare. The patient would be rendered unconscious with electric shocks. Then, Freeman would take his ice pick, stick it into the corner of their eye socket, and hammer it through the thin layer of bone with a mallet. Then he'd swish it back and forth, scrambling the lobes of their brain like an egg. He did this on both sides. He performed thousands of these surgeries, sometimes dozens a day, from the back of his van, which he called the lobotomobile. The result wasn't a cure. It was a creation of ghosts. Patients were left as empty, emotionless shells, robbed of their personality, their memories, their very soul. It was a procedure that didn't heal the mind. It erased it. At the dawn of the 20th century, scientists discovered the most magical element ever seen, radium. It glowed in the dark. It produced its own energy. People were convinced it was a gift from God, a miracle substance that could cure anything. So, naturally, they started putting it in everything. This wasn't just medicine. It was a full-blown craze. You could buy radium-laced chocolate for energy, radium cosmetics for a youthful glow, and even radium jockstraps to enhance male performance. The most popular product of all was Radither, a tonic that was literally just radium dissolved in water. A wealthy industrialist and amateur golfer named Eben Byers swore by it. He drank a bottle of Radither every single day, convinced it was a secret to his health and vitality. He drank over 1,400 bottles. Then the side effects kicked in. The radium, which his body had stored in his bones, began eating him alive from the inside out. He developed agonizing abscesses. His teeth fell out. His jawbone literally disintegrated and had to be surgically removed. An article about his death ran with the headline, "The radium water worked fine until his jaw came off." People weren't just paying for a cure. They were paying to drink their own tombstone, draining the blood, scrambling the brain, drinking liquid poison. The history of medicine is a terrifying reminder that the road to hell isn't just paved with good intentions. It's lit by the glow of radioactive water and guided by a doctor holding an ice pick. If you think what doctors did to the living was bad, wait until you see our next video, where we expose the most twisted punishments of the ancient world. We're talking about forms of justice so diabolical, they make these medical treatments look like a day at the spa. Subscribe now, because you won't believe what happens next.